There are steroids in your IV solution that's going to help reduce the inflammation and the pressure on your brain.
Norm, Mom,
As soon as the steroids take effect, your motor skills will come back, and you'll be able to talk. But you've got to give it some time.
Go.
No. You're going to dislodge the IVs.
No.
Just lie back
If you
and
fight
relax.
this,
Come on, don't fight it.
it's
Okay,
going to take longer. Now, what you've got to do is relax and let us do the work.
Bob, please. Trust me, I really think we caught Tony's condition in time.
How can I trust you? My own son is living in Springfield. I don't even know about it. Why, Jimmy?
I can't explain. I will someday. Look, try to believe me about Tony, okay?
How can I believe you? Tony could be dying. How do I know you tell me the truth?
You've got to trust Ed. Ed wouldn't let him die. You've got to believe that.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
We have to talk, Dr. Reardon, in private.
I have an emergency here, Andrews. My family needs me. You're gonna have to wait. I'm sorry.
And what about the needs of mankind? I believe we have an appointment in the laboratory. Now, Doctor.
Jimmy, don't
I'm
go.
sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I promise I'll be back as soon as I can.
Not till we got this settled, darling. What the hell do you think you're doing? Something I should have done a long time ago. Oh.
It looks as if Springfield isn't going to be so...
What?
And now, Guiding Light.
I told you, darling. This is our wedding day as soon as we find ourselves a preacher.
Get out of here, you damn fool. This evening belongs to my sister.
Oh, I'd forgotten how much fun life can be in America. Now, don't spoil it.
I want Billy Lewis thrown out of here.
Well, please be a good brother. Let me have some fun. Philip, darling, your father's going to have a nasty bruise. Come help us find some ice.
Come on, Ed.
Why don't you put me down? Don't you hear what I'm saying?
Darling, it's true love done swept you off your feet. Hey, is there a preacher in the house?
Preacher!
Billy Lewis.
Turn my daughter right side up, or I'm going to turn you inside out. Do you get it?
Oh, Henry, you're not playing fair. I can't very well go beating up on my own future father-in-law.
That's what I was counting on. Now, don't cry, darling. Everybody's going to forget all about this in a couple of years.
I wrote.
What? You're laughing.
I'm so thrilled in my life.
Oh, dear child.
What's that mean?
Are you going to marry me?
Billy! Hey, darling. Excuse me. Embarrassing. Billy, you two aren't having to look for a minister, are you?
We sure could use one.
Billy, may I present the rector of St. Paul? Hello.
Perfect. That's what he wanted in the first place.
Yes, well, I'm afraid the church isn't available now until the end of March.
Well, sir, we don't need a church. We just need you.
I beg your pardon?
See, we're done waiting. We want to get married right here, right now.
I'm afraid that isn't possible.
Oh,
You need a license, blood test.
Oh, that doesn't matter. We got all that stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, and that license is good for 3 months. It's sitting right in the top right-hand drawer of my office. Yep.
Well,
If you can produce the license, I suppose I can perform the ceremony.
Billy, as executive vice president of LTA, I'd be delighted to get that license. Top drawer, right?
Top drawer.
All right.
Ross!
Hey, Rebel, we gotta make a plan.
Okay, Miss Chamberlain. You got exactly 1 hour to change your mind. Then it's gonna be Miss Billy Lewis.
My brother's life's in danger, Andrew, so start talking. I can't stay here very long.
Oh, you can't stay here at all, Reardon. When you took your mask off at the ball and revealed to the world that you're Jim Reardon and not Dr. John Stevens, your career in research died.
I'm doing Dr. Stevens' research, Andrews. I'm working from his personal notes. What difference does my identity make now?
Plenty. You see, Jim Reardon is a nobody. The Spaulding Foundation put their money behind Dr. Stevens because he was acclaimed and respected throughout the world.
And that very same man put all his trust in me as the rightful successor to his work.
Get out of the country, Reardon, while you still can.
Not a chance. Dr. Stevens' research is too important. I'm not about to abandon it now. And you can't either. I don't care how you feel about me. You've got to help, too.
Absolutely not. You committed a fraud. I will do everything in my power to see that legal action is taken against you.
I don't believe you.
Try me. You no longer work in this hospital, Reardon. You're fired, you understand? So save the speeches. We have nothing more to talk about.
You're playing with human lives here, Andrews.
You are so full of yourself. There are plenty of scientists that can take over the work.
And it would take them years to develop the data that I have in this lab.
The data in this laboratory is the property of the Spaulding Foundation. Now, I want the keys and the combination to the culture room.
You're crazy.
Let's not play games, Doctor. I'll get those keys one way or another. You're no longer an employee of this hospital, remember?
You want me to hand my life's work over to you?
That's right.
When hell freezes over.
Wake up, Reardon. In your case, it just did.
I'll hold it more gently. I promise.
All right.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm all right. Thank you for coming to the rescue, son.
Yeah, sure.
But there's nothing to be gained by lowering yourself to the level of a Lewis.
Your father's right, Philip. Nothing was ever accomplished by fighting.
Well, I must say, Alan, I found Philip's reaction quite remarkable.
Thank you.
Why is that?
Well, surely you realize how unusual it is to see such parent-child loyalty in the Spaulding family?
Thank you, dear.
Excuse me, Mr. Spaulding?
Yes, what is it, Reese?
Sir, is there anything you would like me to do about this wedding?
What wedding?
Mr. Lewis and Miss Chamberlain are getting married on the dance room floor in under an hour. And, frankly, sir, they're kind of taking over the club.
Are you telling me that you've lost control of your own establishment?
Sir, I realize it's a bit irregular.
Only in America could you attend a masked ball and end up with a wedding as a floor show.
It's not irregular, it's intolerable. This is my sister's party. I will not have her upstaged by Mr. Lewis's fiasco.
Oh, I assure you, darling, it will take more than some oil man marrying into high society to upstage the Baroness Alexandra Spaulding von Halkheim. So why don't you let this marriage take place? Unless, of course, you have some personal or financial reason for preventing it.
No, of course not. If Vanessa's big enough a fool to want to marry Billy Lewis, let her go ahead with this circus of a wedding.
What are you doing here?
Leave him alone, Floyd.
What? He's the reason Tony's lying and they're fighting for his
That's
life.
not fair. He helped us get Tony to the hospital.
She's right, Tony. If it hadn't been for Lou Jack hotwiring the car, we'd still be in the parking lot.
Look, Floyd, you're Tony's friend. Why don't you respect his wishes? He wanted you to get along with Lou Jack.
Don't think this changes anything. It's still your fault.
I think it's really nice that you came. Maybe you better go back to the country club, though. I'll let you know how Tony's doing. That's his mask, isn't it? Lou Jack, it's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault.
Maureen, don't you think we should call Nola and tell her about Tony?
I don't know, Floyd. What do you think, Ma?
Oh, honey, I'm frightened.
No. I think she's right. I mean, Nola is pregnant. It could upset her. And...
No, that's not what I mean.
What is it?
Maureen, this new life Nola's carrying, what if it's meant to replace Tony?
Oh, don't say that, Ma. Don't say that. Why don't come into Ed's office? There's one there. It's quiet. Floyd, would you help me? Sure.
Tell you something, for a nurse, I feel pretty useless. Well, they say love conquers all, but I tell you, I don't feel like my love has done Tony any good. I'm sure glad that Ed and Jim were there.
Yeah, so am I.
Learned a lot about the Reardons in the last few days.
Well, I haven't. I don't understand why Jim didn't tell me who he was.
You know what? The Reardons can be very warm and generous people, but they can also be very stubborn and very secretive.
You don't think he trusted me enough to tell me the truth about who he was?
I don't know. I mean, Tony didn't trust me enough to tell me the truth.
Yeah, but now at least you know.
Yeah, but Hillary, I had to force it out of him.
You know something, Annabelle? You're a real good teacher.
Really?
Yeah. I just figured out what I gotta do.
Now, my dearest Daddy, are you going to give me away?
Darling, are you sure you want to go through with it? You're acting so impulsively now. It's not like you.
I know, isn't it wonderful? I like it. I like thinking with my heart. I can't tell you how many times as a good businesswoman I just took every impulse I had and I tempered it with reason.
But, darling, that is wise in business when millions of dollars are at stake and your own reputation. Come to think of it, that's exactly the sort of situation you're mixed up in now.
What do you mean?
Well, thing. Billy has hurt you time and again. HB and I keep having fights. How do we know that the Lewises aren't using you to get at Spaulding Enterprises?
Daddy, I've thought of that. I really have. It's just a chance I'm going to have to take, all right? I love him. I just love him. I tell you, when he turned me upside down like that, I just lost my heart. And that's what I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life.
I think the bride should enter from the stairs, and the minister should be over by the bandstand.
Yes, well, I hope you're not expecting a wedding cake, because we really have not had any time to prepare one.
It's okay. What really matters is the rice. Yes, a couple dozen boxes of rice and confetti will do just fine.
And what do you have planned for a bridal bouquet?
This is nice.
You really want Miss Chamberlain to walk down the aisle with a potted plant?
No, of course he doesn't.
I mean, it isn't
do you,
easy.
Rip? No, I think, this. It's white. Oh, this should be perfect.
Mm-hmm. And
Wonderful.
exactly how do you envision this bridal bouquet, with or without a footed dish?
Look, what's the difference? If you just find some tin foil and some paper doilies.
Melinda Sue, dear, don't you think those flowers are just a little large for someone as fragile as Miss Vanessa?
Vanessa's a lot less fragile than you think she is.
Oh, really?
And furthermore, she's gonna last a whole lot longer than you ever did, Reba.
Oh, sweetie. Now, since when did Billy's little princess want to share her daddy with anybody?
Since I stopped sharing them with you. Now, if you could just take the Reverend back into the kitchen and help you work up a miracle on these flowers.
Yes.
Thank you. And now, Rick, if you can help me look for something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue, okay?
She's the little lady we should have locked in the closet.